London will send unwanted asylum seekers to Rwanda in the future. The East African country is aspiring, but the local human rights situation is still quite problematic. On the basis of an agreement signed in April, the British government plans to bring the first asylum seekers to Rwanda in 2 weeks. The first flight to the East African landlocked country is scheduled for June 14th. That's what Home Secretary Priti Patel announced on Tuesday. Our world-leading partnership with Rwanda is a key part of our strategy to overhaul the broken asylum system and disrupt the business model of evil people smugglers, Patel said. According to the Interior Ministry, the first asylum seekers have already been informed about their planned deportation to East Africa. There, they were to receive a generous support package that included 5 years of education, housing and healthcare. But that's just the beginning. In the long term, according to Prime Minister Boris Johnson, Great Britain wants to fly tens of thousands of immigrants to Rwanda. In fact, Rwanda is considered an up-and-coming industrial nation, officially. According to the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, it is one of the African countries that have already largely implemented the MILLENIUM Development Goals of the United Nations. And Volkswagen operates one of the few selected African production sites in Rwanda's capital, Kigali. And on the international stage, President Paul Kagame is building his reputation as a statesman whose word will be heard on the African continent. But it is also the authoritarian style of government of the long-term ruler that makes the agreement with Great Britain particularly explosive. Although Johnson described Rwanda as one of the safest countries in the world, which enjoys global recognition for welcoming and integrating immigrants, well, according to observers, however, the human rights situation in the East African country is anything but exemplary. Human rights groups have announced lawsuits against the deportation plans, according to which the British action violates the International Refugee Convention. And I think so too, by the way. With the deal, ruler Kagame probably wants to further expand his status as a reliable international partner. The British government, which is initially transferring £120 million to Kigali, sees itself exposed primarily to domestic political pressure. Curbing illegal immigration was one of Johnson's key promises before taking office in 2019. However, during his tenure, the number of migrants crossing the English Channel into Britain by boat has reached record levels. As the German newspaper Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung reports, Brexit also plays a role. Since London was no longer allowed to use the Dublin Agreement, it can no longer send refugees back to the EU countries of arrival, such as Italy. That's what Nicola Hirt, Africa expert at the Giga Institute in Hamburg, told the newspaper. Home Secretary Priti Patel was also criticized for this. Patel, who is considered a hardliner, has already attracted attention in the past with draconian advances on migration issues. In 2020, she proposed accommodating migrants on a small island in the South Atlantic. Well, she always has new ideas, which are kind of, breaking international law usually. And I have one little statement for my long-term viewers. You are used to a certain style of videos now. I just had to ship out my computer today, which is not very old, and it still needs warranty repair. So for the next couple of weeks, I will be without my computer. And so you might see some limitations on my channels. Just so you know, so not everyone will ask in the comments, because you already know. It could be that there's less graphics now, there's less videos. It's very hard to work with the old equipment. And so you might see some differences, but then you already know why. And in a few weeks, we will be back to the roots. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.